All right, I am ready. Welcome to, I guess, the last podcast of the year.
Sort of. It's the last recorded of the year,
one,
and
yeah.
I guess the first exhibited of the year.
Yeah, so Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, we exist in a time of temporal anomaly right now.
Yeah, we've kind of been clumping these together and doing a few at once and, messing with the whole timeline anyway, so.
Yeah. So what do you... when was the last time we talked? Was it back on, 17th or something?
Oh, it's been a while, yeah. I think we had a few episodes queued up. I don't even know. Yeah. It's been a busy couple months, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything new then? Have you have you gotten around to playing any video games, or have you just been Christmasing it up? Or
Christmasing it up? Well, let's see. I guess looking back, kind of arbitrarily, some number of weeks. What has happened? We had Christmas. My parents visited. That was kind of okay.
All the way from Canada.
All the way from way up north. It is actually pretty far since they're across the coast, right?
Yeah.
Back in good old Nova Scotia.
Bam.
But, so I don't know. That was kind of nice. Didn't get a lot of gaming. I mean, actually, my mom likes to play Dr. Mario, so we had
nice.
A good bit of Dr. Mario challenges going on, which is fun, but not a lot of, me trying to nail down games in my to-beat list or anything.
Dr. Mario was one of those games that my mom was really into.
I feel like everyone's
Tetris.
mom. Yeah, everyone's mom played Dr. Mario. I don't know what's with that.
Yeah, I don't know. My mom was really into Tetris, the original Mario, and Dr. Mario. And I remember waking up one time, I must have been 5 or 6 or whenever the game came out and we had it. I remember getting up in the morning and I went out and I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, go back to bed. You're up way too late. And I was like, it's the morning.
Brutal.
She had played all night long.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. This is a digression a bit. Maybe the coolest story I have about my parents ever doing anything with games is when we had just gotten my Nintendo, my first Nintendo. I was, I guess, 6 or whatever. And of course, I probably sucked at everything. I don't really remember. I don't remember any such period. But my dad does not. He thinks games are foolish and won't go near them. And anytime I even say anything about games, he's like, ah. Anyway, my dad stayed up all night and beat Mario 1. Nice. I can't. Thinking about it now, it's just incredible. But he left the thing on for me so that in the morning I could see the end.
Yeah,
which is inconceivable that anything like that would ever happen now. But
my dad had very few games that he played. There was one on PC called Panzer Commander.
Oh yeah.
And that's actually how I got my start in game dev, because there was a level creator for that, and I would create levels for him to play.
Nice. I think that was nuts and milk for me.
Yeah, so he would play that, and he would play Duck Hunt, and that was about it.
Wow. So my dad played some racing game. I forget. He was really into F1. So we at one point had a racing game on the computer. Just, I don't know. There's so many. One of them. And he had the wheel and stuff. And he played that for maybe a month. And Mario 1. I think that was it.
Nice.
But anyhow, Dr. Mario. Fun times. I'm yet to meet someone who is at my skill level in Dr. Mario, to be honest.
I mean, didn't I beat you in that when we were having a lightsaber fight? Probably not.
I thought we agreed to never speak of the lightsaber fight. Funny story, that lightsaber movie we made as high school kids. I actually got to see that in 2000. Yeah, 2000. I want to say 8 maybe. Raw footage. Oh man, our friend who was supposed to finish it up and send us a copy and never did. I actually met up with him and played it and watched it a bit. But it's pretty cringeworthy. You're better off not seeing it. I'll say that. Let it be a sweet memory.
Yeah. So they visited. Did you get up to anything else around the holidays?
No. My parents are really homely people. I mean, I love my parents, but Kia and I were so, do you want to go anywhere? Is there anything you want to see? We can go, we had this thing lined up to go see this botanical garden that's kind of famous and this other thing. And they were like, And then my dad like slept on the couch, and my mom played iPad games all day.
Yeah, it's interesting. My family's kind of like that too. It's like when they have visited since I've left the nest, it's been kind of weird for me because I always feel like I need to organize stuff to do, like going on hikes or whatever, and they just want to kind of lounge around.
Yep.
I wonder if that's a generational thing or if we're just going to be that tired when we're
makes you wonder.
Parented for 20 years.
Well, my what am I saying here? Kia's parents are very different. They want to go see stuff. They want to get out. They want to do stuff. And I mean, I think also like it's a different country for them, so there's probably a little bit more of a novelty factor there. But it's interesting because I get both experiences. When my parents come, we chill, we do stuff, we play Dr. Mario. When her parents are here, it's like every day we're out somewhere kind of thing, right? So hard to say what I really prefer. I almost would prefer a mix, but I guess that's what I'm getting by having the two different style parents and parent-in-laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We stayed in Vancouver for the holidays. No family visits on my end, but
cool.
I guess part of the reason we mentioned earlier that we had a couple of videos stacked up is because a couple of weeks ago I went to Montreal to do some house hunting. So we've got an apartment lined up to move into as soon as we arrive on the 9th, I think, or 6th, or I've got no concept of time anymore.
Very nice, very nice. And I understand it's a much bigger place than you've become accustomed to.
Yeah, well, it's probably about the same size as the place that Andrea and I originally lived in together in college.
Okay.
But yeah, we've progressively moved into like smaller places as we've moved around the world. And then, I think our place was like 300 square feet when we were in San Francisco.
I think that's illegal. I've done 420. Yeah, I've done 420 square feet. That's including the balcony, and that was pretty brutal. You'd been in that place. But
well, so that's the thing, right? Is like it was about the same size as soon as you take off the balcony.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tight. It wasn't too bad when it was just the two of us, but then we had a kid, and that was tight living quarters.
Yeah.
So we did get something larger when we came to Vancouver, but even then, like real estate here is pretty pricey. So we opted for something that was downtown, where it was nice and convenient that we could walk to everything we needed. But that meant I think 500 square feet.
Right.
So yeah, it wasn't a whole lot better. So yeah, we're moving to Montreal, so now we can pay less for rent and have like almost 3 times the amount of space. So,
well, Montreal's a big city too, right? I mean, it's not that Vancouver is small, but I found personally, like when I was in Vancouver, downtown had its own thing going on, and then you have kind of like whatever Burnaby and like South Granville and Richmond and so on.
Yeah.
But like downtown was the only place I'd ever really considered living. I mean, I actually did try a few other places and was never really happy there. Whereas Montreal, it just seems like this big, expansive, kind of more classically big city, like. You know what I mean?
It definitely doesn't feel the same as Vancouver to me. Like the downtown part of Vancouver was almost like its own small town.
Yeah, exactly.
There were some skyscrapers, but like there's lots of shops and residential area and stuff there. Whereas it doesn't quite feel the same way in like, to me at least, in Toronto or Montreal. So yeah, we're actually about a 10-minute car ride or 25-minute bus ride out of the downtown core.
Right.
But everything we need is going to be in walking distance. There's like lots of restaurants and there's daycares and doctors' offices and everything all in walking distance. So,
how about distance to work?
It's about the same as what I just said. So 25 minutes if I take the bus, or I think it's like 15 minutes if I take the bike to work, or 20 plus minutes if I take the bike back from work.
Got it.
So I got a nice downhill coast to work.
Rocket, yeah. I had the downhill coast back from work, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so cool. I'll probably get a bike in the summer, but it's probably going to be a little bit colder than I'm used to. I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be doing that in the winter.
I'll bet. It's kind of you're slowly moving back east.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soon
it was
you'll
like
be back in PEI, man.
I don't think it's gotten below like -2 here in Vancouver.
Oh,
but
wow,
it was
really?
like -24 or something. And of course I'm talking Celsius, which is the one true measurement.
Fahrenheit's magic numbers, man.
Yeah.
Kill me, seriously.
I forget what 0 Fahrenheit is.
32. I'm
No, 0 in
like
Fahrenheit.
In real temperature. Yeah, I have no idea.
But like 100 was like the temperature of Dr. Fahrenheit's wife's mouth. So it's like
awesome.
Yeah.
And 0 was some arbitrary thing, I guess.
I don't remember what 0 is. It's just like 0 is like where the mercury is at the bottom of the thermometer.
Right.
I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, I successfully got the house hunting trip. Gonna be moving next week.
Next week! Wow, man, crazy.
Yeah. So it's very weird right now because the company I'm working for is paying for the relocation, and that's
the company you're going to be working for. Or you're kind of never mind. Got it. Yeah. You're like already working for them, but you're just not there yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird because I've never had that before. So I'm feeling kind of antsy right now because the move is coming up and I haven't packed anything. And
been there totally, man. Our last move was like that.
I've started to let things get a little bit messy because it's like, well, I could clean it, but we're moving in a week. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. So they hired movers for you. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very weird. Like, you know, we got stuff sent to us for Christmas, so I've got these boxes, and it's like I'm not allowed to put stuff in it.
Yep.
Normally, I'm like eager to keep all these stuff for my moves and stuff, and this time it's like if I pack something, it won't be insured. So
got it. I see.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was weird when we moved to the States because I had a similar thing where the company hired movers for us, and it was like they came a bit ahead of time, so it was like about a week or so before we actually moved. So these people I have never met in my life show up, take all my things away in boxes, and that's it. It's just like, okay. It's just really bizarre to do that when you're not used to it, yeah. And then you don't see it for like 3 weeks. I don't know what your experience is going to be like.
Yeah, it's between 2 and 3 weeks when we're expecting delivery.
Yeah. And then it has to, like when you're switching countries, it has to actually pass through customs or whatever. So like, you're not even sure you're going to get it all. Like it's really, it wasn't very comfortable, I'll say that.
So, which is one thing that's interesting about that is when we were coming back through San Francisco is you're actually supposed to have a very detailed inventory when you're crossing the border back into Canada.
Interesting.
I think America doesn't really care what you bring into it, but Canada is much more strict. So
interesting. We had to do something. Like I didn't have a strict inventory, but I kind of, like I said, or I think they filled it out. They had like, this box is like plates, this box is video games, and then they gave me a list I signed, and it was like one of those multi-sheet things where they rip the sheet off and you get a copy too. I think I had to show that when I came. I don't really remember. It was really weird.
Yeah. So back to the holidays, I guess, because I'm really eager to brag. Did you?
Well then, okay.
Did you get anything amazing or satisfying for your holidays, or other than visits? I mean, any satisfying loot?
I won't say it, but Kia already spoiled your surprise for me, so I know what you got. Well, my big thing, I guess, is it's the kind of thing that's special for me, but I feel like everyone else will be like, is in Japan they released a special, like a Super Famicom skinned 3DS. It's actually a 3DS XLL. Yeah, so I got one. Kia got it for me. So it's
so how many 3DSs do you have now?
I forget if I had an older one. I don't think I did. I had a DS, but this is the second 3DS.
Okay, right.
So it is a second 3DS, but it's my first 3DS XLL or whatever. Right. And also it is the Japan one, so now I can get another account going and have the Japan-only games if I care. I'm not sure what specifically exists as a Japan-only for the 3DS, but
This is the one that plays Super Nintendo games?
It does not play Super...
So it's not the new one, it's just the XL.
It's... Does the new one play Super Nintendo games? Am I out of the loop here?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
There's Nintendo's a ridiculous company, and they just release. That's. I'm actually mad at like every one of the console manufacturers right now because they all just release like updated versions that can do new things.
Right.
But yeah, there's something that they've called literally the new 3DS. And if you want to play Super Nintendo games from the
oh yes
store.
yes, got it, yeah, and a lot of people were like, what about these ones we paid for, right? Yeah. Shame on me, I haven't powered it up yet. I set it on my wall and I was like, oh, and then I just haven't gone back to it. So I believe I think that is what it is. Yes,
right. Yeah, I had my eye on that. It's it looks fancy.
Yeah, it's cute. It's nice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with that. What else? I got a couple art books, just like art of. Do you know what Tekkon King Crete is?
I've heard the name, but I can't picture it in my brain.
Matsumoto Taiyo. It's an old, well, it's not that old, I guess, about 10 years maybe, older Japanese. It's a comic and a cartoon. Very stylized,
right.
not the typical, like, big eyes, sparkling Sailor Moon stuff. Pretty cool.
Right.
I like his work, so I got that art book. And the guy who does Monster, I got that art book. I don't know, I can't see over there. I stacked them up and I just haven't had time to go back. But yeah, a few art books, that's kind of fun.
Nice.
And then, I don't know, some adult stuff, clothes, stuff like that.
Nice.
So share with me your impressions of your wonderful acquisition.
What acquisition? I haven't told you anything.
Well, tell me what your acquisition is then.
Yeah, so Andrea imported me in a Japanese mini family computer. So
very nice, very nice.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Was it a surprise?
It was. I suspected, but I had no reason to suspect other than me having told her it's something I was interested in. So it was a surprise, but also I was like hoping that was what it was going to be. Got
it. There was a box of appropriate size and so on.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Cool.
So I got that, and we hooked that up, and it's different having it in person than I was hoping it was going to be. I remember people were complaining about cord length and stuff, and I was kind of passing it off as not a big deal because I figured this is just going to sit on next to my computer and I'll be in a chair right next to it anyway, so what difference does it make? But actually having it in person, and Andrea wants to play it with me, it is suddenly a pain in the ass to have it in front of a TV and try to sit any distance away from it.
Right.
So yeah, now that I've got hands on it, I guess I've got to take back my earlier stance and shame Nintendo a little bit, because it was really dumb decision to not just add an extra couple feet on the cables.
Yep. Are the cable lengths longer on the American one? I forget. I think there's a lot of complaining about short cables in that one as well, right?
I'm not sure. I know that you can buy replacement controllers, and you can even buy like wireless controllers from third parties. So right. I don't know. I haven't seen one of the American ones in person yet. But so what you can do, and what I did do, is buy a new USB cable and a new HDMI cable. So now I can stretch it all the way across the room and have the controllers right next to me.
So what you're doing essentially is moving the console, the system, closer to you, right?
Yeah.
And sitting right beside it, yeah. So did you...
Yeah, because the cables can't be any more than 3 feet long for the controllers. So,
have you ever had physically in front of you the original Famicom?
At your place.
The controllers are the same length. They're like incredibly short. And even the Super Famicom, it's like the controllers are, like you say, maybe 3 feet at most.
Yeah.
It's just the design. And a lot of people say, like, oh, Japanese houses are small and oh, blah, blah, blah. I guess, but like I've been in Japan playing these things and been like, oh man, this cable is way too short at various different locations even. It's just, I don't know, it's that might be part of the reason, but it is definitely an odd design choice.
Yeah, I mean, I live in a small apartment, so you'd think the small stuff would be suited, but yeah, even then it's an inconvenience. If you've got a TV that's more than 3 feet away from you, it's an inconvenience. So we had to pay a reasonably large amount to import a hot item at Christmas time. Not as bad as many other people have paid, I'm sure, but you pay a large amount for it, and then you immediately have to pay another $100 to get brand new cables to be able to play this thing. So disappointing on that end, but at the same time, it is fun to have. So we sat through and we've played. We sampled just a couple minutes of like Balloon Fighter and Mario 3 and Mario 2. Oh, sorry, Super Mario USA.
Awesome.
We played a couple minutes of both of those, and we played a little bit of the original Mario Bros. The one that was like a mini game in Mario 3.
Yep.
So we've tried to play a little bit, but it's deceptively difficult to play this game with a 2-year-old in the same room.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
At first, like the Mario one has been the easiest to play because he'll take the second controller and he'll kind of just like move back and forth and jump, and he doesn't know that there's a point to the game, but you have the ability to like try to stop all the
save him
and save him. So it adds another dimension onto the game.
Yeah.
But when we try to play anything else, he's realized that you can press the reset button and on the console itself, and that has a much more obvious effect.
Brutal, man.
So
yeah,
it's pretty impossible to play because he loves pressing the reset button and the power button.
You need to set him in his chair and tie him down, man.
Well, and I guess that's another disadvantage to the short cables
right.
It's because now we have to bring that thing right over to where we're sitting. We can't leave it behind the baby gate next to the TV.
Yeah. Bummer. Well, still, I imagine it's a pretty cool toy, and they have a lot of. Looking at the game selection, is there anything on there you think you'll actually go through? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They had like Super Contra and some stuff.
Yeah, So part of the interesting thing is I've got a massive backlog right now, and I want to tackle games that I haven't played before. So there's Mario 1, 2, 3, Castlevania, Mega Man 2. Those are all games I've played and beat before. Mm-hmm. And the same with River City Ransom. I'm probably not going to play that one until Laz is old enough to play with me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess Metroid I beat that as well. But then there's a number of games like Kirby. I'd never played Kirby before. And there's like Atlantis something.
The Mystery of Atlantis. What about Super Contra?
I don't think I've played that one before either, honestly. So
fun game.
And I beat Ninja Gaiden 2, but never the first one. So I'll definitely try to get through those.
You can do them in a day, so
yeah,
it probably won't affect your gaming schedule that much, I imagine.
Yeah. If I bring those to work or something, I can do it during lunches or something. So we'll definitely be playing those.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. I don't know. In all honesty, I think it's so super awesome, but at the same time, I've kind of cooled off on like desiring one. I grew up with a lot of the games on it, actually, like maybe some of the ones that a lot of people in the West haven't really played, like Balloon Fight and so on, just because I had a multi-cart when I was a kid. I had 76 and 1, and it had like all those games on it. Yeah. So I literally just would leave that card in the system and just play like crazy all the time. And so in a way, it's kind of like a really good nostalgia fest for me, but at the same time I already have all those games, right? I literally have each one, so it would be a cool little item, but I already have a setup even where I can just play them pretty easily, right?
It's totally different for me because I don't own any Japanese games, and where I have like a bit of a recurring interest in picking up the language. It's that's part of the reason I wanted to go for it, is because it gives me like Zelda and River City Ransom and stuff that I can slowly try to pick up Japanese at the same time.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Well, I hope it ends up being a fun experience for you to go through them if you do go through some of those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't get any time to play any games over the holidays then?
I played some more Cave Story, and I'm at the boss of the game.
Nice.
Yeah, so that is beating that game is imminent.
Nice.
And
that's only been what a month or 2 months.
Oh, geez, man, seriously, 3 maybe. I was playing some other stuff at the same time. I've been playing a lot of like I said, like Dr. Mario with Kie and with Mom and stuff. I've been like kind of gaming, but not like clearing games off a list kind of gaming, you know?
Right.
I did sit down and play a board game I'd acquired a long time ago and never found anyone to play with me. The Bay Area Regional Planner. I mentioned it in the
we were talking
episode.
about it during the Kickstarter.
It's fun. It's like a real life SimCity kind of, I guess, but not really. It's like you already have a city, but in SimCity when you play it and you can play those scenarios, there'd be like Detroit has bad traffic, fix the traffic and like stuff like that. So instead of going and building your own city, you'd load a city and then you just have to fix its problems within some time period. I guess that's the closest thing to this, but it's a board game, and you kind of team up with the other players, and each person has different goals. And so like if you want to, for example, like if my goal is to make sure that commute times don't go crazy, don't exceed like an hour on average in this certain county, and then also I want to protect some forested area, then I can make this policy decisions, including like maybe building houses more centrally so that people don't have to commute out to the suburbs, and like making sure no one else develops on those forest areas. But then if someone else has like a goal to decrease rents however much, they want to build more houses all over the place to I guess accommodate the increasing housing demand as your economy goes up. And so you have different goals like that. It's kind of interesting, actually. Just like it was I don't know what you'd call it, almost like an intellectual experiment, I guess. And then as you play, it's like every turn you draw a card, and that's the economy card, and it will say like the economy's booming, this many new people have moved in, or like whatever, like there's a bust and there's not so much housing demand this month. And so depending on that wave of like economic prosperity or decline, you have to like kind of adjust your policies. It's fun.
Nice.
So that was cool. I kind of pushed my parents to play it with me, but I think by the end of it, everyone was having a good time.
Cool.
Yeah. So gaming wise, just Cave Story really. I do have some plans for the new year to make some more game time for myself. So I feel like I've been saying that for months though. So we'll see how it works.
Well, I mean, it's tough. You've only got so many hours in a day, so.
Oh man.
Certain things have to take higher priority.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it's no board games really for me. We have been playing a little bit of Jenga.
Awesome.
Laz loves it.
Nice.
So,
I'll bet he does.
Yeah.
Does he love playing Jenga, or does he just like smashing things?
A combination of the two.
All right.
Once it topples for the first time, then it's hard to get him to continue stacking. And then from that point on, he just wants to topple.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll let us set it up, and we'll encourage him to find a block to remove, and he'll poke it out, and we'll help him get it out. And he loves stacking it up on the top. So
cool.
There's a donuttery. A donut store, I don't know what you want to call it, near where we live, and they sell like vegan donuts, and they've got board games and stuff. So
I might know the place. What's it called?
Cartums.
Yep, I know the place. Yep,
on Pender. Yeah, it would have been like a block from where you used to live. Ish, I guess. Kia was a big fan. Yeah. So that's pretty good. We've taken him there a couple times, and he was so into it that we ended up going to London Drugs and getting some
picking up some
knockoff Jenga to take home.
Nice. Speaking of knockoff Jenga, I do have the Donkey Kong variant of Jenga.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since I've played it. It was really my friends, and I kind of inherited it. But you have to move Mario, or each person gets their own Mario. And like you have to try and get up to the top and kill Donkey Kong, but someone can remove the block from under your Mario, and then he falls to the bottom. It's like the weirdest thing. So it's normal Jenga in that if you topple the tower, you lose or whatever, but an individual person can also win by getting their Mario up to the top.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
Huh. I'll have to look into that some more. Yeah, it's been. We've had a really hard time getting into any sort of board games. We used to play a lot of Scrabble, but until our kid stops putting things in his mouth, we're gonna keep that one hidden.
Good idea.
There was one board game that I got. I don't know, like 2008 or 2009 or something. It was, I guess, there was like a box set of Civilization that came with Civ 1, 2, 3, 4, and it also came with a card game version of Civ.
Interesting. I'm aware of the what is it, Avalon Hill Civilization. I guess that's something very different.
Well, there's a board game. I don't know who made that, but this was a card game, and I guess Soren Johansson, who was the lead designer, I think, on Civ 4. I guess he basically went to like GDC or some equivalent thing for board games, and one of the workshops they did was like make a board game in a day. So he basically just took all the stuff he was familiar with the Civilizations and turned that into a board game, and then
sold it.
Basically, he was happy enough with the result that they actually like turned it into a refined product.
Awesome.
So it was fun. I've unfortunately only ever gotten to play that with Andrea, but it's I imagine would be more fun with closer to 4 players than 2.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Very cool. I have a lot of friends who are crazy into board games. It's one of those things. I mean, when you have all these different hobbies and stuff competing for your time, for me, it's like one of those things that is like so close to making it into my life, but I keep kind of saying, well, I don't have time. So maybe when I'm like 50 or something, I'll get back to that.
Yeah, you've got to have a good group of friends to play with, right? And,
and we're introvert loners, of course, right?
Well, it's sometimes I mean, that's a large part of it. But
let's hear the elaborated reason you're gonna give me now.
When you consider moving around the world several times, it's also sometimes difficult to quickly get some friends that you are tight enough with to invite over.
Right.
So with me, at least, when we would have friends over, it would tend to be to like we'd have a movie night and we'd have a bunch of people over and we'd watch something together. Because, I've been working in the film industry and that tends to be what everyone's interested in.
Right. Fair. Fair.
But yeah, hopefully that's another thing that we'll be able to pick up more as the kid gets older. It's nice, I guess, looking forward to a bunch of stuff like that we'll be able to start getting into that weren't previously options for us.
So you make me wonder. I mean, I think it's awesome, and I feel the same way about my own family and everything. But like I look at my parents, and it's like when I was growing up, I would have loved to play crazy nerdy board games and video games with them, but they just weren't into it, right? Like, did you have that growing up? I don't know. It's like, is that a new thing? Like, our generation wants to play games with our kids. I feel like
maybe.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know. Like my parents were really into cribbage, and they were really into rummy. And they didn't really want to do a whole lot other than those. They were really into watching cable television.
Okay.
So
I think that's
I got to play some video games with my mom, and my dad. Generally, he was tired after work or whatever, and wasn't that interested in video games, so he'd watch TV, and then we'd go camping and stuff. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of board game going on.
Yeah, I just feel like we might be amongst the first generations who are really like enthusiastic and excited to play essentially with our kids, whereas like my parents, I mean, they played with me when I was little, of course, but it was probably more like, I'm doing this for you. I'm not like, I wouldn't be doing this in your absence, right?
Yeah, and I mean, definitely like our grandparents' generation and beyond, like I think their attitudes towards kids was completely different. Like their attitude was kind of, kids are there to be seen, not heard.
Yep.
And yeah, so I maybe that's true. Maybe millennials, as we're growing up, or maybe the youngest of the previous generation of millennials, maybe they're really getting into that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I couldn't say.
Well, I'd say we're definitely the first, or or amongst the first group of like 30-year-olds that are still very actively pursuing many of the same hobbies we had when we were like 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, the times have changed drastically too, right? Like the whole access to video games and smartphones and everything. I think as a whole, we're a culture now that's much more into play than used to be the case. Like everyone can afford a TV and a DVD player and stuff. I think it's a lot easier for us to have luxury than it used to be.
Yep, I agree, definitely. I think even it's weird because I mean we've experienced that in our lifetime almost to some extent.
I mean, you can even experience that just in the past decade. Like when we bought our first HD TV in like 2008 or something, it was like $800 for a 720p TV.
Right.
And now you can get a 4K TV for like $600, right?
Yep. And like digital distribution, I mean, before Steam, if you wanted to buy a computer game, I mean, maybe this is eons before Steam, but you know, you go to the store, you look around, you pick a game. Like now it's like with so little effort, I could get a Steam account, pay $4 and be playing a game in like, 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was looking briefly at my my giant spreadsheet of games, and if you look at the average cost of like the 200 games I own right now and haven't even played, the average cost is something like $3.
Yep.
So I mean, that's part of the reason it's so easy to get all this stuff is because it's astronomically cheap when you wait for it on sales.
Yep.
I remember buying Final Fantasy III, aka 6, for Super Nintendo, and that cost me like $90 or something.
Is that before or after inflation?
That was before inflation. That was like $1993 value.
But that's Canadian money too.
Yeah, Canadian, of course. In America, it was probably like 10 cents or something.
$50, yeah. Yeah,
that's actually something that's kind of bizarre with gaming is that inflation hasn't really come into play very much. Like games in the States have kind of always been $60.
Yep,
and they still are.
It's simply the case they're getting cheaper, right? I mean, it's.
I guess.
Well, I remember. I think I related the story already, but I just remember buying Zelda 1 from my neighbors used for $50. Like me as I don't even know how old I was, 8-year-old or whatever, probably younger than that, paying $50. Like that's my whole savings, right? I mean, what is that? It's probably like $100 now, or who knows what, right? For a used.
I mean, that's why
NES game.
That's why I can. Yeah, like that's why I can remember the Final Fantasy cost, is because like that was money that I had earned from all my previous birthdays and Christmases and stuff, right? So it's like. Yeah, it's a big deal to spend $90 when you're in grade 4.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. It's funny, and now like that was kind of my attitude before. I mean, say 10 years ago, like collecting all these older games, like collecting all the NES games and stuff, is that they were so cheap, and I could get like 50 games for I don't know $100, we'll say, or something, right? And now it's like with Steam and stuff, you can basically get that many games that are kind of still active or even like relatively new. It's just like, wow, I don't know, the times,
Yeah, and then Christmas comes along and like companies like Ubisoft are giving away their games for free. So
yeah.
So like literally I got what was it, Splinter Cell and Perfect Dark, and maybe not Perfect Dark, I can't remember, but I got like Assassin's Creed 3 all for free. Nice. It's like it's legitimately hard to play all the games that you have access now to.
It is, yeah.
All right. Well, not a whole lot else on the go for this week. Like I said, I'm moving on Wednesday, so.
Yep. Well, I have all these New Year's resolutions, some of which include more gaming and more project time. I feel like I've been saying this for a long time, so I'm going to hopefully use the new year as an excuse and really get down to work and do some of this stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, we should get into that next episode, talking about the overall how it was for the year and what we'll do differently.
Sure. I'm totally down.
Awesome.
All right. Well, glad to hear you had a good Christmas, or I think so. Not too disappointing on those cable links, I hope.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the games, and it's you can only complain so much about having access to 30 new games.
Indeed. All right, mate. Cheers.
All right, catch you later.
Yep, take care.